The name is Jonathan Clark. I was born October 12, 76. I'm 44 next month. I grew up in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Did my undergrad at Murray State University. Graduated in 2000 with a degree in public relations with a minor in nonprofit leadership studies. Then went on to New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, where I got my Master's of Divinity with a specialization in collegiate ministry. Lived in Louisiana for about 10 years before coming back to Kentucky to work at Murray State BCM December of 2013. Yes, for those of you who don't know, 707 is what we used to call our Thursday night worship gathering. The name's changed spring of 2020 to Engage. Engage in worship, engage in relationship. Yes, anytime I am about to speak or preach or teach, I get really, really nervous. And it manifests itself in drinking. I am a nervous drinker. So,
alcoholic or not?
Non-alcoholic. I would always have.
We need to clarify.
I would drink like a ton of coffee. Sponsored by Schaefer's Coffee. But coffee naturally is a dehydrant, I hear, which dries your throat out, which would give you cotton mouth a lot easier. And also, probably once, like back in the day, like even 5 years ago, I could drink a pot of coffee and go to bed. Sponsored by Schaefer's Coffee. But then once I hit like, I don't know, 41, 42, coffee like started affecting me. And so I wasn't able to go to sleep as good on Thursday. So I drink a lot of water. So that's my pre-engage jitters. Once I get on stage, I feel very comfortable for the most part. But leading up to it, it's a lot of anxiety, stress. Can I text my wife back real quick?
Yeah, by all means. I'll just pause it.
You don't have to pause it. I'll tell you what it says. My wife says, how do I do a clever cup of coffee? A clever is a type of coffee brewing device, one of many that I have. Let's see.
A few moments later.
2 scoops of coffee.
1 hour later.
Water. Steep for 4 minutes.
1 eternity later.
One of my greatest strengths, which is also one of my greatest weaknesses, is the fact that I am so rigidly disciplined. So most mornings, and it
Today, Junior?
It varies. Like right now, my kids are doing school virtual learning right now because that's their only option. So I'm not having to take them to school. But even in the summertime, I get up every morning at 5 o'clock. And from 5 o'clock until about 6:30 is when I'm spending time with the Lord. I'm drinking coffee, praying, studying scripture, reading other stuff. Oddest stretches, full split, which, fun fact, I used to be able to do when I was in high school as a cheerleader, primarily a mascot, but I was on the cheerleading squad. Fun fact, not only was I on the cheerleading squad, but I have an athletic letter in cheerleading. But I never received the letter because the class of 1995 cheerleading squad got upset with me and didn't invite me to the banquet to receive my letter. Pop cheerleading girls. So, back to my routine. So after my run, if my wife doesn't have anything to do, it's always nice. I'll cool off on the porch with water, and she will have just gotten up and she'll be having her coffee. We'll have like some morning time together on the porch, waving at the cars going by like the elderly do. And then I'll go to work for a good while. And then my wife will usually have to go to work at the church that afternoon, so I'll come home. And usually it'll be after she's taking care of lunch, and so there's dishes all in the sink, and that's kind of one of my pet peeves coming home to like like if there's dishes in the sink, I want to take care of them and get them cleaned up pretty quick.
Would you say change it a whole lot?
Yes. Will you grab me a napkin, please?
Yes.
I mean, when I was in college, I was so incredibly faithful to Los Portales. In fact, the 15 days leading up to my college graduation, I ate there 14 times.
Rest in peace, your colon.
Yeah. To the point where, like, I knew everybody by name. They bought me a staff shirt. Even one time they came over to my apartment on my birthday and brought me like a cake and a 6-pack of orange soda. If you were to tell me, Jonathan, you're going to die tomorrow, where would you like to eat supper tonight? 100% of the time, here in Murray, I would go to Shogun. I'm a big fan of the Japanese hibachi grill. Second to that, I am a big fan of, I'm becoming a big fan. Every time I've eaten here, I've been really, really impressed, and that's the Keg. The Keg is really good. They have really good food and a good variety of food.
And then give us a number 3.
A number 3? Because I've already talked about number 2. I've also been impressed with Mugsy's. I'm not a big pizza guy, but Mugsy's has a really good pork chop and homemade potato chip. During his 8 to 10 minute devotion for our leadership team meeting for our team leaders, he said the word right 25 times. Coffee, 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 coffee like coffee, 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 coffee shop, coffee.
25.
Powerful stuff.
Heads up.
Oh, snap. We're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Appropriate. I'll look at you.
So you're Hugh Jackman, is what you're saying.
Pretty much. Rich, like my Schaefer's dark roast 16-ounce pour over. Right here from Schaefer's. It's like, he like looks through his eyebrows.